This week we're at Oz Comic Con in Adelaide chatting to actor and director Michael Hurst, best known as Iolaus from Hercules, as well as StarCraft II voice actor Neil Kaplan and both Finn Jones and Daniel Portman from Game of Thrones. This is Player Attack. Hi, I'm Jessica Citizen, and this week I've got some bad news for you if you're a horror fan. It looks like Hideo Kojima's collaboration with Guillermo del Toro and Norman Reedus will never happen, as stories start popping up that Silent Hills has been axed. Both del Toro and Reedus have commented on the cancellation, with the director saying the news breaks his greasy heart. Publisher Konami has confirmed only that its contract with Reedus has expired, refusing to comment further beyond the usual reassurances that it will continue to support the Silent Hill franchise, of course. Reedus, for the record, is super bummed about the news, hoping that it could still come back around. As a killing blow, I hope you grabbed a copy of PT while you could. Sony has officially removed the playable teaser from the PlayStation Store, meaning that if you didn't already have it on your PS4, you've missed the boat. Something that might make you feel a bit better, Swery has confirmed that his most recent release, Dark Dreams Don't Die, is headed to PC nearly 6 months after arriving on Xbox One. Stay tuned for more details on D4. Swery has made it very clear he is very excited about the news. In more good news, even though she's not getting her own game just yet, Batgirl will be playable as part of an all-new, standalone prequel story expansion for Batman Arkham Knight when it is released later this year. The Season Pass comes bundled with all sorts of things. There's new missions, new villains, new maps and new character skins, and for the motoring enthusiast you will also get a selection of Batmobiles, each with their own themed, custom-built racetrack. And speaking of standalone playable prequels, Left Behind, the prequel DLC for The Last of Us, is getting its own release on May 12, so you can play it even if you don't have the original game. Included in the package is a 2-hour trial of the game's multiplayer factions mode, so if you like what you see, you will be given the option to buy the full factions experience or upgrade to the full version of The Last of Us. Onto something completely different now though, EA Sports finds itself backpedaling after being hit by something even worse than the so-called Madden curse. For a while now, the footballer chosen to be on the cover of that year's Madden NFL game, without exception, either plays a terrible season or is injured throughout the course of the year. The studio is now hoping that doesn't extend to other sports games, as the cover athlete from the iOS version of EA Sports UFC has been arrested, had his championship belt stripped, and is on indefinite suspension from the UFC. John Bones Jones was involved in a hit-run accident this week, where he ran a red light and crashed into a pregnant woman's car. Jones then fled the scene on foot, and a police search of the vehicle found both drugs and drug paraphernalia inside the vehicle. The pregnant woman suffered a broken arm, which bumps the charges up from misdemeanor to felony, meaning that Jones is now facing a maximum of 3 years in jail plus a hefty fine. There's been no word from EA about just who will replace him on the app. Meanwhile, Valve was experimenting with a new functionality for the Steam Workshop, which meant that mod makers could sell their creations for real-world money. The project started with Skyrim, which has a healthy modding community just waiting to be rewarded, and the support of Bethesda, who would take a 75% cut of all sales of the previously free content. Within a few days, the first paid mod for the game was removed from sale over a dispute relating to idle animations. It seemed the artist objected to his work being used for commercial gain. Then, just a few days later, Valve pulled the whole deal. The mods are still available for free, and anyone who paid money for content is being refunded. Importantly, Valve has admitted in so many words that it did not understand exactly what it was doing, while Bethesda has apologised to the community, explaining that despite its best intentions, the change is obviously not one that people want. But things got a little weird when John Romero, one of the godfathers of modern gaming, came out this week and announced that his company id Software actually wanted to pay modders from the very beginning, back in 1995. He argues that mod makers should always be able to make money from their efforts, because why should it be so different for outsiders? In other news, we have caught wind of a juicy rumour. UK studio Splash Damage is reportedly working on a remastered version of the original Gears of War headed straight to Xbox One. The remake looks like it'll feature updated everything, improved lighting and textures, reworked cutscenes from the team at Plastic Wax, and glorious 60 FPS action. If you're a fan of Gears of War, this should be music to your ears, providing a nice little harmony to the fact that Black Tusk Studios is also working on a new title in the franchise. And finally this week, time to adjust your calendars. The Warcraft movie has been delayed. Again. This time, happily, it's not by too much. Rather than arriving in cinemas as promised in March next year, studio Legendary Pictures has now confirmed it'll be popping up 3 months later on June 10, 2016. That just might put it smack in the middle of E3, adding up to a gloriously nerdy few weeks. This is, of course, the second time that Warcraft has been delayed. An earlier scheduled date had to be changed when it was discovered that Blizzard's game tie-in would hit cinemas the same day as Star Wars Episode 7. No reason has been given for the delay this time around. For more information on any of these stories, or to keep up to date with the latest gaming news, head to playerattack.com. But for now, stick around, we've got plenty more still to come.
Lannister, Baratheon, Stark, Tyrell. They're all just spokes on a wheel.
I'm here with Finn and Daniel from Game of Thrones, who are in Adelaide for OzComicCon 2015. Thank you guys so much for coming down here and hanging out with us.
Pleasure. Absolute pleasure. Happy to be here.
You guys have just started, the fifth season of Game of Thrones has just started on air over here, and what sort of fan reaction have you been getting to the fact that everything seems to be setting up to something kind of big?
That's kind of how it goes every year. Yeah. The big thing that people have been talking about is the leaked episodes. But the reaction of the first episode was fantastic. I think we still broke a ratings record in the States for our first time viewing, so all good.
I wasn't going to mention the leaked episodes. We don't talk about leaked episodes here.
Well, it's the most illegally downloaded show in Australia, so
yeah,
I guess it's worth talking about.
If we're going to talk about leaked episodes anywhere, Australia is a good place to talk about it, I would say.
Yeah, Australia. I heard last night Australia's the worst country in the world for illegally downloading television shows and films.
We prefer to think of it as the best country in the world for illegally downloading television and films, but yes, we do it quite a bit.
Pirates.
Well, we started as convicts.
Well,
convicts, yeah. What do you expect?
You know.
What has the fan reaction been like while you've been here this weekend? Have you been mobbed by crazy fans?
Oh yeah, no, not at all. Everybody's been really cool. It's been very chilled out. Mobbing isn't something that occurs usually. It's always very pleasant. Everybody here has been very endearing and sweet, and it's very humbling to speak to everybody about how much they enjoy the show. So.
No, there's no mobbing. People are just nice. You know, people are polite. They come up, they talk to you. It's just a really nice, chilled weekend experience for fans and actors to come along to and talk and meet each other. So it's nice.
So we'll get away from the fans, but we'll talk about you guys because you're here. What's it been like to be involved in a show that is breaking records around the place? Did either of you think that was going to be where you'd be?
Yeah.
You were destined to be in this role?
Yep. No. You need to have confidence in yourself as an actor. If you don't believe in yourself, then nobody's going to believe in you. So to feel that you personally have the potential to work at the highest level possible, yeah, I thought I could do it, absolutely. You can't bank on the success of something like Game of Thrones and how successful it's become to say that you knew it was going to become a phenomenon is impossible to guarantee. So no, we didn't know, we couldn't possibly prepare for it, but to think that I don't feel uncomfortable doing the work or working on that level, no.
And you, Finn, same thing? Did you know that you were destined to become, Lord of Flowers?
Whatever, it's just a job. I'm doing it, it's fun. It's great that everyone's watching the show. It's great that, it has a global audience and everyone's so enthusiastic about it. yeah, I just feel very lucky to be a part of something that's very well loved, and I hope that I can continue my career in the same vein and continue to do work which people still engage with. So yeah, I don't know. it's funny, like people say that, you know, I'm still me, like it's still normal, like even though it's like this huge big hit, nothing really changes in my life. Like I still just do the same things I would normally do. So I don't know. It's cool. I'm happy to keep on working on a great show with good material. So.
Finn, Daniel, thank you guys so much for coming to Australia for Oz Comic Con, and thank you for joining us here on Player Attack.
Oh look, someone's written "I hate you" on these on my post. Is that you? Yeah.
Neil Kaplan, voice actor, who apparently for many years was known as Optimus Prime.
Among other things, yeah. You know, I'm kind of a versatile guy, and so I've thrown people off a little bit. When I first got cast as Optimus Prime, I was known for a little show called Digimon, and my character sounded like this, you know. And so a lot of people were very worried that they were going to get Autobots transform and roll out, and that was not the case. I played it a little bit more like Peter Cullen, and so you know, you meet people at conventions and you'll say, Autobots, transform and roll out. And there's a lot of head nodding, there's a lot of that, but then you meet the StarCraft fans who hear my natural speaking voice and don't think it's that I played the part. They think it was a trick of a soundboard, and you know, do me a favor, just roll the tape. Show them that. She dies. Okay, so now they've seen it, and they saw your face literally melt off your head as I proved to you that yeah, I'm not the stunt replacement. I am Tychus J. Findlay.
Mr. Findlay, your freedom awaits. Hail, it's about time.
Okay, is this where I apologize for the ending of Wings of Liberty? Sorry, I didn't write it.
Well, hang on.
Sure.
Apparently,
yes,
you should actually be apologising to StarCraft fans for something else, not for the ending of Wings of Liberty.
Okay.
I hear a story that StarCraft fans should actually be quite upset at you personally. This is what I'm told.
Not now, but there was a point in time in 2009 that my life might have been in danger if people found out that one of the reasons that StarCraft came out in 2010 versus 2009 was because when I started doing the scratch tracks for Tychus, apparently they decided, hold on, Tychus Findlay is a much bigger character than we thought. And this was told to me by Chris Metzen himself. He said, Neil, I don't know if we ever told you, but when you came in and you did, as he called it, that whiskey-soaked thing, we suddenly realized who Tychus was, and they went back and they rewrote and they redesigned the game. And so instead of coming out in like early 2009, it came out in mid 2010. But remember, they killed me, so, you know, you've already had your revenge.
Spoilers! Spoilers!
Oops. Look, it's 2015. That's 5 years old. You can't spoil something like that. And as all the Blizzard fans know, because let's face it, I'm lame without a script. You know, Tychus is alive and well in the Nexus, so there is that.
Well, that was going to be exactly my next question. You know, are you coming back for the third?
You know, what I always say is I will neither confirm nor deny, because if I tell you he won't, that leads you in one direction. If I tell you he will, it leads you in another. And I'm too respectful for the game players and the creators and all the amazing talent down in Blizzard. I don't want to screw up the impact of their game. And for all the game players, I don't want to steal from them the joy of letting the game unfold. You're talking to somebody who got grounded by his own mother because I went to see the first showing of Empire Strikes Back. Yes, I'm that old. And I came home and I wouldn't tell her what happened. So, no, tell me what happened. It's okay. We're going to go see it this weekend anyway. No, I'm not going to. Listen, you tell me or you're grounded. And I was grounded. So if I'm not going to tell my own mother what happened in Empire Strikes Back, I'm not going to tell you whether I've even worked on the game or I haven't. So, now I will tell you, have you played Heroes of the Storm at all? Okay, have you run across Infested Tychus yet? Now that was also me with no special effects.
My mind was Jim Raynor's bullet. Ugh, tentacles everywhere. Ugh, anyone else is inside, feel a little explodey. I wanted to come back, but not like this.
What else have you worked on? Are there other video games that people should listen to and go, how is that guy?
I was several of the orcs in Shadows of Mordor.
So I was tending to be the nasty orcs, you know. So I played a lot of the weaker ones who were up here.
And then there were some that were closer to Bob Hoskins, you know. Yeah, so I played a lot of them orcs. That was fun. I was the mouth of Sauron in Shadows of Mordor. I mean, look, if you're gonna have a body part of Sauron, go with the mouth. That was good. I've been on all the Skylanders games. So, and let's see, I was Bendak Starkiller on Knights of the Old Republic. I was a Wookiee on Knights of the Old Republic. I was a Hutt. I was a Sith Hutt, which is not where Siths keep their equipment. You'd think, I mean, where does a Sith keep his equipment? In a Sith Hut. No, this was a, Mota Chutua. You know, that sort of a thing. I am Skadge, the bounty hunter companion on Old Republic. Let's see, my earliest video game work, I'm going to do some of the lines if I can remember them. I believe it went something like this. Boop, boop, beep, beep, boop, boop, beep. Yes, I was Pong. Okay, now one of those was a lie. One of those was just an out-and-out lie. It's up to you to figure out which one.
On that note, thank you so much for spending some time with us, Neil.
Here, let's...
Hell, it's about damn time.
See, folks, it really was me.
Hi, I'm Jessica Citizen from Player Attack. I'm here with Michael Hurst, who you may recognise from a little show that was on air a little while ago called Hercules.
What are you doing? Exercising. Besides, it's the only way to wake you up.
Well, I'm awake. Now, will you put me down already?
You are, of course, Iolaus, and thank you so much for joining us here.
Oh, you're most welcome. It's great to be here. I really enjoy it. Yeah.
So obviously, Hercules was a big thing. It did end a while ago. What have you been up to since then? I'm hearing all sorts of stories.
Okay, so the main things that people would be familiar with was I directed a lot of episodes of Legend of the Seeker.
Because you are the true Seeker. You need to know about a man named Darken Ra. The greatest evil of all.
For all I know, this is some kind of trick. I don't even know either of you.
Seeker, he lives. And Spartacus, I directed a whole lot of that and spent 1 year producing it as well. An awful lot of theatre. I do theatre all over the place. I've just been in London doing a show called The Generation of Z Apocalypse, which is immersive, interactive zombie show where the audience are the survivors of the zombie holocaust and the actors have to rescue them from the oncoming hordes.
6 months ago, the Z virus exploded out of Indonesia and made its way across the globe in less than 36 hours. We don't know if there is a cure. The fact is, we are being wiped out.
So that's going to be running for about 6 months in Whitechapel in London. I've just finished putting that show in. And I'm about to start a New Zealand romantic comedy TV series called Step Dave. And then I'm going straight to do 2 episodes of the Evil Dead television series. So, yeah, pretty busy. Yeah.
Why the decision to jump from in front of the camera to behind the camera?
It wasn't a decision to do that necessarily. I've always directed. You have to understand, when I started Hercules back in 1993, I was already 38. I had a career, and in that career I directed a lot of theatre, I'd done a few short films, and plus a lot of acting. To me it's all just storytelling, and that's what I love to do. So I don't really choose one over the other. I just have a knack for telling those stories, and so if the work comes up, I'll take it. Yeah.
It sounds like you've been keeping very busy. Dan, obviously, thank you so much for still finding the time to come out and represent something that was that while ago.
It's amazing. Some people come up, and they look at us and they go, "This is my childhood," or "I watched you growing up," to which I say, "Did you grow up?" Because none of us have really grown up. Look at us all. This is amazing, looking at all the cosplay and the people who are really into it. And one of the things that I get out of this is a real buzz of having made a difference in someone's life. It sounds cheesy, but it's real, and you see it coming at you. And yeah, I love it. I leave these things on a real high. Yeah.
And then you go back to theatre, which I imagine is probably also a slightly different high.
Yeah, I mean, it's all a real high. I'm very lucky that my life is made up of work that I actually love. So creatively, I'm constantly stimulated. And see, I'm flying back to Auckland, New Zealand tonight. I arrive at 5:15 a.m. in the morning. I go straight to the studio and start telling people what to do, as if I know.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, I have a lot of good things in my life, so I'm very, very happy. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, as I say, thank you so much for coming over and being here with us at Comic-Con, and thank you so much for the changes that you made for people's lives. I remember watching when I was much younger. And
yeah. 3.
We'll admit to a little bit of a crush.
Oh, well, there we go. Well, it's great to be here, so thanks. Peace.
And that's about it for this edition of Player Attack. Thanks for watching. Next week, we're off to the Wargaming League World of Tanks 2015 International Grand Final held in Warsaw, Poland. We catch up with a few of the teams, chat to the developers from Wargaming, and get up close and personal with a real-world Sherman tank. In the meantime, you can catch us on playerattack.com. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And if you've got something you want to say, send us an email, mailbox@playerattack.com, or just hop on our forums. Till next week, I'm Jessica Citizen, and this is Player Attack.